Kerala, God's own country, land of 44 rivers, Great Parar, Nila, Ganges at the south. A pale moonlight melts into the water, like a smile born out of anguish. O Mother Periyar, will you but transform into a grieving gutter? Again you will surge forward and crash across, destroying banks. Let all putridity go down the swamps, and the river run towards perfection. We will all flow away eventually. We should be aware of the flow, where it comes from, where it goes. Water has always been important to Kerala, but climate change is causing adverse effects like flooding to become more destructive every year. The complex network of waterways that runs through Kerala is fed by monsoon rains that occur during the wet season, but these become shorter and sharper, exceeding the carry capacity of the rivers and flooding the surrounding neighbourhoods. A large part of the issue is caused by mismanagement of hydropower dams in the outskirts of the city. These dams store vast quantities of water to generate electricity in mountain reservoirs that feed the rivers that flow to the coast. Kochi is a coastal city defined by its waterways and canals. Many of these canals were dug during the colonial period and were used for trade and transport, but since many have become mismanaged, full of litter and pollution, this clogging contributes to the urban inundation and waterlogging when heavy rains occur during the wet season. Kochi is also only a few metres above sea level on average, so increasingly frequent and violent storm surges flood large areas of the coast. Many important infrastructures, homes and cultural sites are located within these flood zones. A satellite analysis of ground cover shows a vast reduction in the areas of natural wetland, marsh and mangrove, which naturally defend against floods by retaining soil, breaking waves and absorbing water. As a response to some of the challenges faced in Kochi, an urban strategy was devised to help mitigate some of the most damaging effects. For many years the city has tried to clean out its canals, with varying degrees of success. The proposed flood management strategy involves creating an interconnected network of waterways that can be drained by the forces of the tide to keep them clear and draining appropriately when floods occur. Another aspect of the design involves an urban sponge park, creating a fit-to-fail space designed to flood before other areas, saving them from damage. Selecting already low-lying areas and restoring them to their previous wetland state helps with the absorption and release of water, as well as providing many new habitats for wetland bird and insect species. There is no road to Kamatiparam. To reach the houses you must walk across a highly active railway junction and down into a sunken pit. The people here are downtrodden, living illegally on land they used to own. Clothes are seen drying on the hot stones of the railway, stray dogs wander seeking scraps, and children play amongst the sewage-polluted water and vast volumes of discarded trash. The community wasn't always in such a poor state. Decades ago, it was the name of a Pakali village that spread over much of the modern centre of Ernakulam. But aggressive acquisition of land from real estate developers and the Kerala state led to the reduction of the community to an illegal slum. The area, once being a Pakali community, is low-lying and wet. The buildings are adapted as best they can to this, but regular flooding occurs that inundates the community. As the residents are technically illegal, India Rail grants them no means to add drainage to the area that might alleviate this. It is a health hazard and an unlivable condition that must be addressed. To make this land fit to fail is to discard the last piece of their home. However, it seems essential to do so. How can we find a way to provide a dual-purpose inhabitation for this land that serves the larger needs of flood management in Kochi, whilst helping the downtrodden out of their forced poverty? Drawing on both ancient traditions and modern precedents, the scheme set out to be amphibious, to coexist with water. It had to adapt to changing water levels and flood conditions, while still providing a comfortable and safe environment. Development focused on creating community, while allowing individual families to expand as their needs required. A modular system was devised, with standardized units that could be self-assembled. It was essential to include the community in this construction so that they felt ownership over what was theirs. A community restored, coexisting with water, living with flood.